to call the meeting to order. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning. Thank you all for coming. We've got us a packed house tonight. This is good. This morning, yeah. So our first item on the agenda is going to be a presentation by the Child Care Coalition. So I'd love to have them come up.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioner.
Please go to the podium.
The mic picks you up better if you're there.
We just are here today. We're actually half of the Child Care Coalition. I'm a co-lead of the Douglas County Child Care Coalition. My name is Heather Frellinger, and we're Care Connections and Education. We recruit, train, and retain early educators and child care providers in Douglas, Klamath, and Lake counties. We have an office here. This is our office. These are our folks that coach and train our early educators. And we're here today because after your outstanding proclamation for child care providers, we held a provider appreciation event in May, and we developed a visual thank you for you, and all of our providers signed it at the event as a thank you for the proclamation, honoring them. It just meant a tremendous amount to our providers and early educators to be recognized. We actually included as well a QR code on the back if you want to check the short video out about them signing that and a little bit about that professional development opportunity that we held in May. So we just wanted to be able to present this to you today as a great thank you for seeing this group. It's sometimes very isolated work to be a family child care provider in your home. And so it was a great opportunity to be seen on such a great level. And of course, we have many wonderful early educators and center-based programs as well. But we wanted to bring this to you today, and we're hoping that you might be willing to take a picture with us.
Absolutely. Don't you think we'll bring them all up here?
All right.
It's a
Guys,
pretty
why don't
good,
you get your whole group? Come
All
on up.
right. You want them up there?
yeah.
Yeah, let's come on up here.
Go on up there.
Up here.
Okay, I don't know if you want to move that.
Hi there.
Towards the middle of you.
All right.
On three, 1, 2, 3. A couple of these. Alright.
See him zoom in there at the end?
I'm gonna do one too.
Oh, okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yeah, we'll leave that, we'll get that and set up in the office.
All right, thank you.
You folks, we got a long meeting if you're, yeah, it looks like you know the way. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, but we don't have anything today. Could do things a little different today. So if you're here for item number 9, because of the vague nature of the agenda description, we're gonna have the comments on that after the presentation, so you know exactly what it is the presentation's about, okay? Because we didn't really spell it out on here. So, but at this time, if you have any comments on items 4 through 8, now would be the time to talk about 4 through 8.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have comments
Could you
on
please
item
state,
Andrew Rosales.
yeah, name.
Thank you. I have comments on items 7 and 8, the fleet vehicle purchase. While I appreciate that the work that goes into managing county operations and understand the county employees, specifically the sheriff's office, needs safe and reliable vehicles, my comments today are not about denying employees the tools they need to do their job. They are about ensuring taxpayers' dollars are spent transparently and in line with the priorities of the people. Today, the board is considering nearly $600,000 in vehicle purchases. And this fleet year management budget includes nearly $1 million for fleet vehicle purchases. At the same time, many families in Douglas County are struggling. They're dealing with the rising cost of housing, groceries, utilities, childcare, healthcare, and gas. Instead of spending money to improve the local economy, you choose to spend the money on plussing up vehicles that may not need to be replaced. Small businesses are continue to face economic challenges, and many residents are simply trying to make ends meet. When taxpayers see nearly $1 million allocated to new vehicles, they deserve to understand not only how the purchases are made, but why they're being made and why they're necessary. I have a few questions that I would like answered before you approve the funding. The first one is, what vehicles are being replaced? What's their model, year number, and mileage? What inadequacies do these vehicles currently have that they can't be continued to be used? Are they replacing vehicles expanding the fleet, or are they replacing current vehicles? Does Douglas County have a written fleet replacement policy based on age, mileage, or life cycle costs, or is this done willy-nilly as needed, or as you see fit? Was this purchase competitively bid? I noticed that the dealership that you plan to purchase these from is in Bend, Oregon. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why you would take my tax dollars and then spend it in somebody else's economy whenever we have dealerships right here in Douglas County. I also noticed that the budget included 8 Sheriff's Patrol SUVs, and today's agenda only covers 7. What happened to the 8? Has the plan changed? Will you give an update on that? The cost of the vehicles also doesn't talk about the retrofit to bring those up to patrol status. What's the actual cost to bring those vehicles up to that status? There's also a dispossession cost. As we get rid of those other vehicles, what's gonna happen to them? Are they being transferred to other places within the county? What does it take to decommission those vehicles so that they're ready for other people in the county? And if that is the plan, then obviously those vehicles are still usable, and why are we replacing them? I also noticed, finally, I'd like to encourage the board to think about priorities. Every dollar that this county spends is a dollar entrusted by the people of Douglas County. You work for us. You're asking me for permission to buy these vehicles without providing any justification for why they're needed. The residents are struggling financially. It's important that these major expenditures are accompanied by clear justification and transparency. Good government isn't measured by balanced budgets, it's measured by demonstrating that every significant expenditure is necessary, well-planned, competitively produced, represents the best value for the people of Douglas County. That's all I have for you today. I hope that you will consider my comments and not approve this until you can justify that we're gonna spend $1 million on vehicles. I have a copy of my comments for all of you if you would like me.
Set right there with you. Okay, any other comments? Any other comments on 4 through 8? Okay, I'm gonna move on to then item number 4, our first item on our agenda, and I'll call up our risk management and Paul Van Dyke.
Board of Commissioners, Paul Van Dyke, Human Resources Department. I'm here to request authority for payment of the county's major insurance policy premiums. Those being $475,335.61 to City County Insurance Services for property coverage, $205,700 to Oregon Public Entity Excess Pool, OPEB, for excess liability coverage, and $34,799 to Travelers for cyber and crime coverage for 2026-27, sorry.
Move to approve the payment authorization.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to thank Paul for the amount of time and energy he puts into this and then all of us on it, so I appreciate it.
With that, I'm gonna call for question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Item number 5 is a management and finance item. Guess Commissioner Boyce is gonna handle this one. Nope, Dan here.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Wilson, Management and Finance. This is a loan agreement between Douglas County and Winchester Bay Sanitary District. The amount of $912,550. Proceeds to be used exclusively to pay off the existing loan with Columbia Bank. It's a 12-year loan at a rate of 4% per year.
I will move to approve the loan agreement.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
You want to comment or want me to go first?
Go ahead.
So, we've done this before. We did this for the city of Oakland a few years back. Some of the, benefits to the sanitary district is I think they got a little bit lower rate and allows them to, kind of reconfigure the way they're, running their operation. For us, because of the restrictions on our investments, it actually gives us a little better rate of return than we can get in our investment pool. So it benefits, the entity there in Winchester Bay, the sanitary district, and it benefits the county. On top of that, I think we're their largest customer over there also, so we have a very important interest in making sure they continue their operation.
So this idea was actually born out of the request of the sanitation district over there for the county to deed them the property where the sanitation district is, because the county owns that property. And when they asked for that, I was curious why, and they were trying to refinance some of their debt through banking institution. And I recognize the opportunity for them to save some money on the interest rate and for us to make a better return than we make in our investment pool, and also retain the property over there, which I think is important because of our relationship with the sanitation district in Winchester Bay. And we put this together and it's gonna end up benefiting both entities.
Thank you.
Anything else? That I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Right?
Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes. Thank you. Item number 6, I'm gonna handle. This is a Public Works Department intergovernmental agreement between the city of Roseburg and Douglas County. It's the first modification for the work crew services that we provide for them, and it's a slight adjustment of rate. All else provisions of the contract stand, so I'm going to make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental agreement.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes. Okay, item number 7, Public Works Department item. I'm gonna address a couple things before I actually talk about that. One thing we do here at the county is when it gets to a point where one of our pieces of equipment that we use all the time costs us more to repair than to buy a new one. Do that. That's good use of money, and that's exactly what's happening here. I'll also remind Mr. Rosales that as an elected official, we are elected to make these decisions for you at this level, and this is good stewardship of government to do exactly that. So with that, I'm gonna talk about this one. We are replacing a very old fleet vehicle, service truck out there in our fleet department with this one, and we get that on the Oregon State contract, and we do that because they have quite a competitive process there to get that, and so by doing that, we don't have to go out for bid on this particular one. We can use their contract, which saves us a lot of money. And so this one is for a 2025 Ford F600 chassis service truck, and we're buying it under the service contract. It's for $212,326.34. I move to approve that contract.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
Just one comment. There was a question about why we don't use local dealerships. That came up some time ago, and I actually met with one of the owners of a local dealership. And his answer to that is he didn't bid on our contracts because he can sell the vehicles for more retail and get more for them when he sells them retail to the public than trying to low bid to a government contract. So they simply don't want, they only get so many vehicles, they get allocated so many vehicles, and if they're selling them under a government contract for a low amount of money, they don't make as much money, so they really weren't interested in bidding. So we encourage our local dealers, if they get in a position where they wanna bid, they should bid. But I understand also the dynamics, if you only get allocated a certain amount of vehicles and you can make more selling them to the public than you can the government, that's what you should do.
For sure. With that, anything else? Did you have any comments? No?
I will bite my tongue.
Okay, call for question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. This next item, number 8, I'd like to put the undersheriff on spot, if you wouldn't mind. Mind coming up here and telling us why the sheriff's department needs to replace those vehicles?
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners. Brad Odell, Douglas County Undersheriff. The reason that we've requested these replacements of these vehicles is you have to remember that these are emergency response vehicles. They're driven hard. They're driven beyond what we historically have operated at. We're pushing these vehicles to about 150,000 miles. And I know for the general vehicle, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for an emergency vehicle that's relied upon to get to places fast, make quick response times, it's necessary for the safety of the operator as well as the public to ensure that these vehicles are replaced. These are replacing vehicles. They are not adding to the fleet. They are being replaced to replace vehicles that are aging. And last year, we pushed a couple of these vehicles out, one more year to try to make the budget go a little bit further. And so it has become absolutely necessary at this point to replace these vehicles.
Thank you for that. I know we also put, we put better tires on them. Yes, we put good radio system in there, but these people oftentimes, as a sheriff's deputy, it's not like the city of Roseburg where help's right around the corner. They're often alone, a long ways away.
Yeah.
And have a vehicle breakdown would be inexcusable on our part.
Absolutely, and the maintenance costs on these vehicles as they continue to age consistently increases. And so, as I said, it becomes necessary to replace the vehicles at this point.
Thank you. That, I'm just gonna talk about it in a minute. This is the 4/7/2027 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor units. They've got the factory extended warranty. It's also purchased on the Oregon State contract. The purchase price, each one of them is $55,561.71 for a total of $388,931.97. I would move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments?
The only other question that I had written down was why there's only 7 and not 8, and my understanding is the 7 are available right now, and the 8th one wasn't available. But when it becomes available, there'll be a separate contract for that, or agenda item for that.
All right, that'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a presentation by the Citizens Coalition. I have a representative from that group. Please state your name for the record.
Abby Malik. I'm a resident of Douglas County. The Douglas County Citizens Coalition is just nothing really formal or organized, just a group of residents of Douglas County who believe in being positively proactive, constitutionally based ideas in the county. To give a little background on what that is, which is just people. Would like to see or hear a county proclamation or statement that shows Douglas County support for all levels of law enforcement agencies, from city to county to state to federal, to be able to do their jobs and without interference. Contrary to influencer or fake media information, law enforcement agencies investigate people who have or are breaking the law. Law enforcement is here to protect our community by maintaining law and order. So long as citizens are living and behaving in a way that falls within the law and order, there should be no issues. As taxpaying constituents, we also do not want county resources to be applied in any effort to deter any form of law enforcement from doing their jobs and enforcing policies at all levels. Crime is rampant in the county. Local law enforcement agencies dealing with cartel and crimes would testify to that, in addition to local businesses and residents of the county who are heavily impacted daily. Drugs, being a tremendous problem in Douglas County, are primarily brought in illegally over our borders. And I have a husband who's a law enforcement officer who has given me that information time and time again, so that's a local source. We support the enforcement of all policy that eliminates or reduces our local drug and crime problems. So that's what our request is for, a proclamation of state county support for that.
So let me make sure I understand. You would like us to make a proclamation or a resolution in support of law enforcement?
All forms, all agencies, city, county, state, and federal law enforcement. All law enforcement, yes.
You guys have any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so as I promised earlier, I'm gonna allow now comments on that agenda item. By all means.
I would actually support the idea, and I would add that we add to that proclamation that we will follow all state law, including the sanctuary law that the state has currently. We are subordinate to the state law, and therefore to follow law enforcement means to follow what the state has passed. So I think we should pass it, and I think we should add that too. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. This is your
My
time.
name is Don Gensler. I live on Tyee Road. I'm unable to hear most of these exchanges, but I understand we're right now talking about sanctuary city status. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct, sir.
Forgive me, as I said, I don't hear very well.
Hey, I'm sorry, yeah.
We'll try to speak up, sorry about that.
Anybody else like to comment on that resolution? Come on up, Connie.
Connie Page, Roseburg, Oregon Rural. I agree completely. I totally support our law enforcement. I've had so many good interactions with the chief, and several other police officers, and I totally support this resolution, as Andrew said, as long as that includes that we're supporting all laws, which includes the sanctuary laws here in Oregon. I think that's an important addition to that resolution. Thank you.
Anybody else? Richard, come on up.
Richard Vandervelden, lifetime resident, Douglas County. I agree, supporting all laws is really important. And when you add these laws, you cannot neglect the fact that if people are breaking laws just to get here, that does not automatically give them the ability to get sanctuary. If they're breaking laws, then they need to pay the penalty for that, breaking that law first. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to talk about it?
Not just to.
Sure.
Come up,
You can comment on your own comment. Yeah, go on up.
It shouldn't be contrary to your own comment, but you
Oh,
can add to
contrary.
it.
I just, I don't know, I apologize, I'm not exactly familiar on state sanctuary policies or whatever, but that's why I was trying to be all-inclusive of all levels of agencies, but I do know this, as an officer, my husband who's an officer who patrols our freeway, in his history of 20 years plus of patrolling I-5, there's been a number of years that our officers have pulled over people who are coming from California to Washington, which is the whole state. And a lot of drugs have come through that route, a lot of times from people who are not necessarily legally doing what they're doing, hauling drugs through our state and stuff like that. So I don't know exactly about state sanctuary, this or that. I would say that our proclamation, we would like it to be all-inclusive of all laws to keep our state safe from these crimes and illegal activities by all agencies of law enforcement to cover the safety of our local community, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay.
Thank you. Take your turn.
Krista Cawley, Douglas County resident. I'm wondering if somebody here could define the sanctuary law? Because it sounds to me like people are saying it allows people to come and hide from law enforcement. That's not my understanding. Can you define it
Well,
for us?
ma'am, that's not really what we're talking about today.
Well, it's just come up. She just talked about people coming here for
But-
sanctuary.
But that's not what she asked us to do.
I don't know what that is, so I wasn't
Right, so
referring to
maybe-
that. No, I was just saying, originally my proclamation is not about specific things like that, it's just for all forms of law enforcement to
And
be
yet
able to
when
do
you
their
say
jobs.
things as part of that presentation, that people are coming here for sanctuary, that does affect the
I
discussion.
don't believe she said that,
I
ma'am.
didn't say that.
She only brought up sanctuary after somebody else mentioned that.
Okay,
I
but
only just said I don't know
could you
what that
define
is.
the sanctuary law for us?
No,
You don't know it?
I'm just saying it's not part of the agenda, it's not part of what we wanna talk about here today. She was asking
What
us
I
for,
wanna talk about here today, and I'm one of your
I'm
constituents.
sorry, this is
You
what.
told Andrew that you are elected to make decisions over us. We elect you.
Okay, perfect,
I'd
but right
like to
now,
know.
we are dealing with this situation.
Yep, and I'm saying if we're going to bring sanctuary
You tell
into
me
it,
what it is then, in your mind.
it's a forbidding that our agencies, my understanding is that, for instance, the city cannot assist in other law enforcement. For instance, an ICE agent coming onto city property and requesting use of resources, use of building, use of information is illegal. That's all. It's not hiding people, it's not letting people from other countries break laws and bring drugs. It's simply law enforcement. Is that how you understand it?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, does that help people here who
Sure.
thought maybe it was hiding other illegals?
Good morning, Sharon Lee Schwartz, lived here in Roseburg for about 30 years. And I wanna concur with this woman that absolutely, if we have Californians and Washingtonians who are bringing drugs into Oregon, then I very, I hope that they will be caught and the drugs will be taken, absolutely. Not that I have anything in general against Californians or Washingtonians, but if they're breaking the law, so be it. There is this subtext to this conversation, which is ICE. We all know that. Nobody's said the word, but we're talking about ICE here. And so
You are, but we're not.
in terms of following the laws, my hope is that this county and the sheriff of this county will be willing to enforce state laws, no matter who's breaking them. Because we have a number of state laws that put limits on what ICE agents can and can't do. They can't break into people's homes without a judicial warrant. Not legally, not here in Oregon. And so I hope that all of us, elected officials, citizens, law enforcement, learn to be able to tell the difference between an administrative warrant, which is nothing but me signing my own warrant, and a judicial warrant that went in front of a real judge. Just like when the sheriff wants to do a drug bust, they get to go in front of a judge and say, this is our evidence, and the judge says, go for it, right? That's the law in Oregon, and it applies to federal officers. We have criminal laws, right? I mean, you can't just go shoot a round of batons at someone because you're mad at them or you don't like what they're saying. You can't tear gas your neighbor because you don't like what they're saying. And so my hope would be that in this county, there's enough courage and conviction for law enforcement to protect the people who live here, no matter who is the danger, whether that's a neighbor or a federal officer. So thank you.
Sure, come on up.
I might be able to shed some light for you guys why this is getting brought up. I was sent this, and I think a lot of people got sent that. I'll just read a brief thing from him. I'm Mike Weaver, by the way. Anyways, doesn't matter.
What?
I'm Mike Weaver, yeah. Anyways, it says, this is in response to Mayor Larry Rich, and the Roseburg City Council declaring Roseburg a sanctuary city from ICE enforcement. So that's probably what you're getting at. I'm not commenting one way or the other, but I don't know how many people got sent that, but I was sent that too, so.
We didn't send that, did we?
No.
It says from DCCC Administration Team, Douglas County Citizens Coalition, which I'm not familiar with, besides just hearing today. So that may be where some of this confusion is coming from.
Sure.
I just wanted to try to throw some light on it.
Thanks for speaking up.
May, you want to go?
Hi, good morning, Melissa Sherwood, rural Roseburg. Commissioner Chris, I wanna correct you, when Sharon Lee said we were talking about ICE, you said you were talking about ICE. ICE is a federal agency. What was proposed is endorsing all levels of law enforcement from local to federal. So in fact, that does include ICE.
Sure, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just want you to know, I want most people to know that don't know this. Oregon was the first state in the union that became a sanctuary state, and that was renewed in the 2000s. So apparently, everybody should kind of know what sanctuary state is.
Anybody else like to comment? Okay, we're gonna bring it up for discussion here. Anybody have anything that they wanna add or discuss about this?
We talked about
We
this
should-
a few weeks ago, and we kinda
Yeah.
talked about having a resolution of some kind. I don't know, I didn't do anything on it.
I didn't got to it yet either.
So I've got a draft that I wrote over the last few weeks. It's this really born out of individual citizens contacting me and asking, you know, hey, where's the county on this? But as important as it is for people to know what our opinions on this are, I think it's also important for people to understand I have zero law enforcement authority. I don't get to direct law enforcement in this county in any way, shape, or form at any level. We have a sheriff who's elected just like we are. He's in charge of law enforcement within the county, and really this is his purview and not ours. I'm happy to state my opinion. I'm happy to see if I can put together an opinion that you two agree with, so that the public's aware of where we stand, and this is what I hope that I've put on paper.
Would you mind reading that for us?
Yeah, and I'll read it, and this is in the form of a resolution.
So a resolution's just stating our opinion.
Right.
It's not an ordinance.
It's not a
Which is
law,
what?
it's not an ordinance, it's a statement of position.
Does it represent the county's position?
If it's voted on today by the three of us, it would represent our position.
It does represent the county, not your personal position.
If we vote on it, yes, as a body.
Correct.
So, and really it goes along the lines of what Abby had mentioned, and I gotta tell you, it's very confusing to me to have people in here recognize the fact that the county is subservient to state law, but refuse to recognize the fact that the state is subservient to federal law. All of this is supposed to go
Didn't Oregon legalize cannabis before the federal government?
At this point in time, he's talking, so please.
Listen to them.
Anyway, it's all supposed to go together, and that's was Abby's point. And so this is what I wrote to sort of take a shot at that. A resolution of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners expressing support for the principles and policies of the current administration and declaring the county's intention not to be a sanctuary jurisdiction. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas
Do you
County.
hear the responses you're getting?
Do you let him listen this out? Okay.
Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County, Oregon, hereinafter the board, is charged with representing the interest of the citizens of Douglas County and ensuring the public health, safety, and welfare. Whereas the board is committed to upholding the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon, and to ensuring the safety, security, and well-being of all its residents. Whereas the board recognizes the importance of clear policies regarding cooperation with all levels of government, including federal agencies, in the enforcement of laws duly enacted by federal and state legislative bodies. Whereas the current administration has implemented various policies aimed at strengthening national security, promoting economic prosperity, enforcing immigration laws, and ensuring the rule of law. Whereas Douglas County wishes to affirm its support for principles and policies that uphold the rule of law, promote public safety, encourage economic stability, and ensure robust cooperation among local, state, and federal authorities. Whereas the term sanctuary county commonly refers to local governments that have adopted policies, ordinances, or resolutions that limit or discourage cooperation with federal immigration authorities in the enforcement of federal immigration laws. Whereas Douglas County opposes any Oregon state law that contradicts the current administration and federal law. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners believes it is in the best interest of the citizens of Douglas County and for the maintenance of the public order, safety, and the equitable application of laws that Douglas County not operate as a sanctuary jurisdiction and instead fully cooperate with federal authorities to the extent required and permitted by law. And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County.
Please, let him finish.
And this wasn't on the agenda.
Would you please?
This wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, let him finish, please. Go ahead.
And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County, Oregon as follows. Section 1. Douglas County hereby expresses its appreciation and support for the efforts and policies of the current administration that are directed towards enhancing national security, securing the nation's borders, supporting law enforcement, promoting economic growth, and upholding the consistent enforcement of federal laws. Section 2. Douglas County, Oregon hereby declares its intent not to be a sanctuary county and opposes the adoption of any state laws, policies, or ordinances or resolutions that would cause it to be designated or operated as such. Section 3. Douglas County will continue to support and cooperate with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies in the lawful enforcement of all applicable laws, including federal immigration laws, to the extent permitted by the United States and the Oregon State Constitutions. Section 4. No county resources, funds, facilities, equipment, or personnel shall be intentionally used to obstruct or hinder the enforcement of federal immigration laws where such enforcement is being carried out in accordance with the law. County officials and employees shall cooperate with federal immigration authorities in the discharge of their lawful duties consistent with applicable legal requirements and limitations. Section 5. This resolution shall be effective immediately upon its adoption. That's what I put together as a proposal.
This time we're having a discussion. No, you may not. At this time, we're having a,
She
hey,
was allowed to amend her comments.
this
and
time I'm
I
gonna
would-
invite up the
I
sheriff
would
to talk
like
about that,
to-
please.
I would like to
Please.
amend my comments as was permitted in
Ma'am.
the other.
Right now, we are having a discussion, okay? The next person on this is gonna have a discussion. I'm gonna ask the sheriff to come up here and just comment on that a little bit. Please move back, sir.
I will step to the side. Is that acceptable?
No.
Please move back to the back of the room or sit down.
Hey, Jim.
Sheriff, I just would like to ask you if, I heard state law quite a bit in there that we're, applicable state laws and stuff. Is that a resolution you can live with? What's your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of state laws that make put public safety at risk if we follow, but we have to follow, and we recognize that. That said, I wanna thank the board for this resolution, and I wanna thank those of you in the crowd that support the resolution and or that support law enforcement and the rule of law. So I don't know if
How
I
about
don't know if I
zipping it
answered
so
your
we can
question.
listen to men speak?
How about letting someone exercise their First Amendment right?
I'm doing that now. So did I answer the question?
I think so, yeah, I just wanted to make sure,
It's a very difficult balance, obviously.
certainly don't wanna put you in a position where you're having to violate anything, and so I wanted to make sure that was, yes.
So basically, you're trying to manage, and your officers, through your direction, your deputies, a conflict between state and federal law. And there's other conflicts of state and federal law out there that you have to manage, and it becomes, sort of a challenge at times, right?
Correct.
And the challenge for us is that we don't enforce any laws. You do that. But we're being asked what our opinion is, and a resolution is basically our opinion. It doesn't affect what you're gonna do. You're gonna do what you're gonna do because you're elected independently of us. Unlike a city where a city council hires a city manager, and that city manager hires a police chief who works for the city manager, and of course, the city manager works for the city council. Much different type of arrangements that our 12 cities have than we have here at the county. But ultimately, this resolution is a opinion of the position that we believe the county should be at. And I think one of the things I didn't hear in this, you said administration, I'm assuming you mean federal administration.
Yes.
And I'm not sure it really talked too much about when there was a conflict between state and federal law, which again, I think that's something you deal with and have been dealing with your entire career, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And that certainly this issue is probably the worst conflict that we've really had to deal with in my 37 years of being in law enforcement.
Well, and then there's all the other things that come up, and of
Kinda
course.
makes you not wanna do it anymore,
You know,
doesn't it,
my,
Sheriff?
my role as the chair of the DENT board, I of course am more involved in some of the enforcement of illegal drug activities, which there's a tremendous intersection between illegal immigration and illegal drug activities, to the point where there's even some nationally recognized cartels that are part of that here in Douglas County. So I understand that challenge, even in that area of enforcement, gets pretty difficult. Our DENT team includes federal organizations, so it gets pretty complicated, so.
Right.
But that conflict is a challenge, and I appreciate you coming forward and understanding what we're trying to do, but also continuing to be the sheriff that's gonna manage that conflict.
Thank you.
Can I say a little bit more?
Yeah.
I wanna talk a little bit about where this came from and why, just real fast. And I'm gonna ask for folks to just please be patient and not shout out, because I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna be disorderly in here, it doesn't help your cause. It just doesn't, okay? We're not talking about an issue that's been highly politicized on Fox News or CNN. It's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is our sheriff's deputies, our state police troopers interacting with real live illegal immigrant drug cartels in Douglas County. I have been on the ground at the sites where before we spent a whole bunch of money and time and beefing up DENT and getting rid of this garbage in our county, we would go out to these illegal marijuana grows where they're trafficking human beings to use as slave labor on marijuana grows. They're dumping chemicals into our rivers. All of the things that you folks in the room that keep yelling at us don't want to happen were happening here in Douglas County. And they're not happening by Californians that are driving through I-5 on their way to Washington, or from Washingtonians driving through I-5 on their way to California. A lot of it is happening with drug cartel personnel. And we deal with it in real life here. I've seen it. We've gone out and mowed down the plants. And what we're asking for is the opportunity to state our opinion that should we have illegals in our community doing nefarious things, that we are going to continue to comply with state and federal law to the best of our ability. And that is all. It has nothing to do with anything other than actual crimes that are being committed in Douglas County and the work that we're doing to stop it. That's where this came from. Don't care what it says on CNN, don't care what it says on Fox News, contrary to many of your beliefs probably, I don't watch either one of them. Okay? This is related to the work that we and you and your deputies and the state troopers are doing in our community that we see, that some of you guys in this room don't see. That's where it came from.
One more quick question, right? I just wanted to make sure it was clear that nothing in there, even though I know that's our opinion and you do, well, we don't wanna be run afoul of you, you know, in a way of being not the same opinion. And I just wanna make sure that nothing in that puts you in a position that you felt vulnerable at all.
Not at all. I feel completely comfortable with it. I support it. You don't direct the sheriff's office enforcement actions. You guys all know that. You remind me that regularly. I know it. My people know it. But when it comes to this resolution, I'm completely comfortable with it and agree with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, no, we're.
This wasn't on the agenda.
No, I'm sorry, no,
The resolution wasn't on the agenda.
sorry.
Would you like to comment?
Let me talk to you about the concentration camp up in Tacoma, Washington, where these people are being sent.
So we're not in Tacoma, Washington.
I
We're in
understand that, but the people you're collecting up are gonna go there.
We're not collecting
The conditions
anybody
should
up.
concern you, yes?
So you're accusing us of things we don't do here,
Did either, it's
Okay.
just talked about, so.
so you're not listening.
It is a concentration camp.
We're having a
The people
discussion
who were
right
there
now.
did
You're
nothing
welcome to
wrong.
listen to our
They were at their
discussion.
immigration hearings and they were collected up by ICE.
Well, we just adjourned.
They did nothing wrong, they followed the rules.
I was hoping to get one, by the way. It's just-
You control the meeting.
They were picked up specifically because they were brown.
Control the meeting. I'll say something.
Sir, all right. We're having a discussion here, we're gonna continue to have a discussion here. If you're gonna continue to talk, we're just gonna adjourn the meeting, we're done.
Immigration hearing if they weren't following the rules.
This time, we're having a discussion, you're being disruptive, okay? We're having a discussion right now.
So I'm happy to talk about this as long as we need to, but for the purpose of discussion, I like the resolution. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the resolution.
And I'll second that.
Thank you.
So again,
They're approving the resolution.
so if you would be quiet and listen, you'd be able to hear us. We have meetings here every week and everybody can hear us all the time. So anyway, again, this is a position, an opinion of the Board of Commissioners. It is not an ordinance, it's not law, it's an opinion. And I think I agree with what you wrote in the opinion. I think it's well written, and it balances the conflict that the sheriff has to face every day with conflicting state and federal law. It says follow the law, so I'm supportive of it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Boyce?
I'm ready to vote.
Yeah, I'm asking for it.
Oh, I'm a yes.
Commissioner Freeman?
Yep.
I read everything in there, I think we're fine with, and I think it reflects my opinion, so chair is an aye and the motion passes. Thanks.
Shame on you for not allowing comments.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.